Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from SkiEssentials.com. Welcome to our 2026 ski test. Today we're talking about the K2 Reckoner 102W. This is the women's version of the Reckoner 102. It is built exactly the same as the men's Reckoner 102, just a different top sheet graphic. And I've always really enjoyed these skis. I think they're super fun. They are marketed and advertised and positioned as more park-focused skis, but it's very interesting because especially with the women that we put on this ski in our test, a lot of them, like the non-park skiing women, really like it. So for me, the Reckoner 102W, or really the Reckoner 102 in general, has like more clearly in my mind become a pretty darn good option for a lot of women or a lot of maybe just smaller skiers looking for a really fun, really versatile freeride / powder ski. So some cool stuff going on in the construction of this ski. Starts with a wood core, pretty simple wood core, and then we get two different applications of carbon. So we get carbon spectral braid, which is cross-hatched carbon that changes in kind of its angulation or its orientation. It's very tight in its weave underfoot, and then it elongates that weave in the tips and tails, and it's a really effective way for K2 to control torsional stiffness. So underfoot here, you get a good amount of torsional stiffness, resulting in decent edge grip underfoot, leaving the tips and tails to be very loose and playful and kind of let you do whatever you want. We've got a demo binding on this one, unfortunately, so it's not going to look great on the scale or not going to give us a very accurate figure for weight. They're not tremendously light. I had a 177 in the men's graphic up here just recently, and it was right around 2,000 grams in the 177. I think we've got a 163 here. Yeah, 163. So obviously you're going to be lighter here, but they're not crazy light. It kind of doesn't matter because they ski a little bit lighter because they're very soft and very fun and very playful. And hopefully it comes across on camera just how soft that flex pattern is. It isn't like consistent, homogeneous through the whole ski. So like I said, there's more grip underfoot, and it's also a little stiffer underfoot, just leaving these tips and tails, again, to just be like super playful and buttery and smeary. And it's a really fun ski. It's just one of those skis that puts a smile on your face. Kind of looking at the shape here, this is where we see a lot of that freestyle or park influence. So it is a more symmetrical ski than most skis on the market. But not uncommon to see this in a twin tip at all. So good amount of tail rocker and almost as much tail rocker as we see up here in the tip. I'd say it's not quite the same amount, just maybe maybe it is, but my eyes tell me that there's a little bit more tip rocker than tail rocker. And you don't have to mount it center, so you have a little bit of a range of mount points here. And I would say for a non-park skier, if you're considering the Reckoner 102, just go back to this midsole line rather than, you can't see the term that they use, but I believe it's a team line, which is going to be closer to the actual center of the ski. We do get some camber underfoot, and then we get a nice amount of early taper in the tips, but still a pretty wide, spoony tip up here that's going to float really well. And yeah, we had a bunch of different women on it in our ski test this year. Like three really good skiers, actually. I was just looking at feedback from Ashley, Lauren, and Kim, and they're all very different skiers, but all very good skiers. Ashley Maxfield has a Freeride World Tour background. She actually hopped on this in a longer length than that 177, but loved it. You know, she said she could point it towards just about anything. It was pretty soft snow that day with variable conditions, and she loved the way that it just kind of plowed through everything. And then Kim and Lauren, they loved it too. And like you saw overall impression scores and like the 8s and 9s from skiers like that, I don't know that my wife got on it in this year's test, but she's skied it in the past, and she's always like very surprised at how fun it is. She has a race background, and those three other women that I was just referencing, they're all really good skiers. That like chances are, if you walked into a ski shop and you're like any one of those four skiers, your mind or you wouldn't just gravitate towards a ski like the Reckoner 102, but there's a lot to like about 102 underfoot, relatively soft flexing twin tips. It could be an East Coast powder ski for a lot of people, just a super, super fun spring ski for when you just want to go out and cruise around and push around those big, heavy piles of snow. And then definitely, obviously, there's a sweet freestyle application here too. So if you're a woman that wants to have a great ski for free ride terrain for soft snow, but then you can also take into the park, you can ski at switch, you can do all of those things. That's probably the sweet spot for the Reckoner 102. But yeah, just based on years and years of testing and years of feedback at this point, I can't ignore the application as just a super, super fun soft snow ski for a woman. So that's it. That's the Reckoner 102W. Let us know if you have any questions about it, and we will see you out there on the slopes.